Have you ever stopped for a second and questioned everything? Not just small things, but reality itself. What if the world you're living in is only a carefully constructed layer, a system designed to keep you focused on the surface, while something much bigger unfolds beneath it? Because according to one of the most controversial theories, there is a hidden war happening right now, not in distant galaxies, not in the future, but here on Earth. And the most unsettling part is this: you are already inside it, not as a soldier, not as a decision maker, but as part of the terrain, because this war is not physical. There are no visible armies, no official declarations. Instead, it is fought through influence, through perception, through control over something far more powerful than weapons: the human mind. Some researchers and whistleblowers have pointed to unusual patterns that don't fully make sense within conventional explanations. For example, the sudden release of classified aerial footage by institutions like Pentagon, videos showing objects that defy known physics, objects that move without visible propulsion, that change direction instantly, that operate beyond human technological limits. Officials admitted these were real, but they never fully explained what they are. Why? If there is nothing to hide, why leave the question unanswered? Then there are the testimonies. Hundreds of individuals across different countries and decades, telling eerily similar stories: encounters, abductions, lost time, people with no connection to each other, describing the same sequence of events: a bright light, a sudden paralysis, a presence in the room, and then nothing, until they wake up hours later, changed. Some of these individuals later discovered unusual objects in their bodies, small metallic implants, sometimes detected through medical imaging. In certain cases, these objects were removed only to show properties that couldn't be easily explained. No clear origin, no identifiable material, and yet no official investigation ever followed through. Why are these cases dismissed so quickly? Unless they are not meant to be explored. Then there's another layer: technology. Think about how rapidly technology has advanced. In just a few decades, humanity went from basic computing to artificial intelligence, quantum research, neural interfaces. Some believe this leap is too sudden, too accelerated, almost as if the knowledge was not entirely developed by us, but influenced or shared quietly behind closed doors. Because if contact was made, would that knowledge really be made public? Or would it be controlled, filtered, used strategically? And then we come to the structure of society itself. A system that keeps billions of people in a constant loop. Work, consume, repeat, minimal time to reflect, minimal time to question. A constant stream of distraction, endless content, endless noise, as if silence itself is something to be avoided, because silence leads to thought, and thought leads to awareness. Some theorists argue that human emotional states are not just internal experiences, but outputs, frequencies, signals, fear, anxiety, stress. What if these are not random? What if they are amplified intentionally? Because a population in a constant state of tension is easier to influence, easier to guide, easier to control. And this is where the idea of a hidden war becomes even more complex. Because according to some accounts, there isn't just one non-human presence. There are multiple different groups, different agendas, some possibly competing for influence over the same resource, us, which means Earth is not just a planet, it's a contested space, not for land, but for control over consciousness. There are even claims that certain individuals in positions of power, politics, media, finance, may not be entirely independent, that their decisions, their influence, may be guided by something beyond human understanding, not necessarily through direct control, but through subtle alignment, ideas that don't feel like their own, choices that seem slightly off. And if that's true, then the system is not broken. It's functioning exactly as intended, because the most effective system is one that no one questions. And then there are the historical traces, evidence that something similar may have existed long before modern civilization. In places like Lascaux Cave, Tassili Neger, and Kakadu National Park, ancient cave paintings show figures that don't resemble ordinary humans, beings with elongated heads, large dark eyes, strange proportions. Some appear to be wearing suits or helmets, details that feel out of place for prehistoric imagination. So the question becomes, how did they come up with these images? Without reference, without prior knowledge, or did they see something they couldn't explain? And what about ancient myths? Stories from different cultures, all describing beings descending from the sky, bringing knowledge, changing the course of humanity, different regions, different languages, but strikingly similar themes, coincidence, or fragmented memories of real events. If these encounters happened in the past, then maybe they never stopped. Maybe they evolved, became less visible, more strategic, because direct appearance creates fear, but hidden influence creates control. And that brings us back to the present, to the idea that the war is not about destruction. It's about dominance, not over the body, but over the mind, over perception, over reality itself. Because if you can control how someone thinks, you don't need to control what they do. They will do it themselves. And maybe the most unsettling possibility of all is this. What if the system you trust, the reality you accept, the life you live is not entirely yours? What if it has been shaped, guided, adjusted over time, so subtly that you never noticed? Because the greatest form of control is the one that feels like freedom. And if that's true, then the war is not something that might happen. It's something that has already begun, a long time ago. And we have been part of it, from the very start, without ever realizing. So now ask yourself, if everything around you can be influenced, if reality itself can be shaped, if your thoughts, your emotions, your perceptions might not be entirely your own, then what is real? And more importantly, if the truth were right in front of you, would you even recognize it? Or have you been trained not to see it,